All right, we are continuing on in our booklet at 1.5. 1.4 has been removed. So, leasing a vehicle. You're going to need internet access for this part of the booklet as well. Try these. What are two things that people might rent? Examples given are apartments or a car for a trip, both of which I guess Mr. K has done. So, our first example here, Lee works for a computer company. She needs a car to visit clients. Her company pays her a car allowance. She's thinking about leasing her next car. She knows that leasing a car requires a small monthly payment than buying a car, and that she'll not own the car at the end of the lease. What advice would you give Lee? Hint: car allowance is in the amount that an employer pays towards the cost of using a car for work. So we have some charts to compare lease with buy. We have advantages for leasing. The down payment and monthly payments are lower because you only need to pay for depreciation and interest. You pay taxes only on the monthly payments and not on the total value of the car, so the taxes are going to be less. You can lease a nicer car than you can afford to buy usually. And if you do not like the car, you can lease a different car when the lease expires. If you do like the car, you can buy it after the lease. Advantages of buying are when the payments are made, you own the car. If you lease, you have to give back the car. None of the residual value will belong to you. You can drive as much as you want. If you lease, there may be a limit. You may have to pay for extra kilometers. If you lease, there may be an extra charge at the end of the damages, and if you cannot afford to keep the car, you can sell it. When you lease, you are committed to the contract you signed. So what advice would you give to Lee? Well, I would tell her to lease. She gets a car allowance. Leasing is a way to make sure that she'll always have a reliable car, if that's what she wants. Or I would tell Lee to buy. She can keep or sell the car if she loses her job. So we have an example. We have Ming that lives in Edmonton, Alberta. She plans to lease a car that costs almost $28,000 to buy. She has $3,000 for a down payment. There are 36-month payments of $428.54 plus taxes. The residual value after the lease of 36 months is $17,000, including taxes. If Ming buys the car after the lease, how much would she spend? Okay, so let's do the solution here. So what is each lease payment, including taxes? Well, let's get started then. The after-tax lease payment, so they initially mentioned, how much was the percent here? Edmonton is 5%, so we have to do 1.05 times our 428.54. We're going to get 449.97. That's our after-tax lease payments. What is the cost of the lease? Cost of the lease equals the down payment plus 36 months that we were given times after-tax lease monthly payment. So our down payment is $3,500, and we have 36 months times what we just calculated up here of $449.97 per month. That will all equal to about $19,698.92. How much would Ming spend to buy the car? So the total cost is going to be the cost of the lease, which is what we just calculated, plus the cost to buy, which they said was $17,325. So we're going to add those together and get a total of $37,023.92. So pretty expensive car. Reflection: suppose that Ming bought this car new. The payment would be $510 per month for 5 years. Would it cost more for Ming or to lease or buy new? Well, we can just check that out right now. We'll go 510. 55 times 5 times 12 is 30,000. So $7,000 more to do it the way Ming wanted to do it. So not super worth it. Example 2. Sean is turning in his leased car. The lease says that he can drive 40,000 kilometers. He has to pay 10 cents for each extra kilometer, so he actually drove 44. He also has to pay $5.35 for the paint job and body repairs and $75 to fix a chip in the windshield. What's the total cost for all these extra charges? So he drove an extra 4,237 kilometers times 10 cents. So the charge will be $423.70. B, what is the total cost of extra stuff? Well, we just figured $423.70, and we have to add the additional charges that were laid up here. So $535 for the paint and $75 for the windshield chip is $1033.70. So that's the total cost. How could Sean avoid these additional charges? Well, Sean could have driven less during the lease. He could have purchased the car after the lease and paid for the repairs only if he wanted to do the repairs. Those are 2 options. Okay, moving on to the practice. So the practice is 2 pages. We're going to be using the tax chart that you completed in the first part of this booklet. What is the total monthly lease payment, including taxes for each monthly payment? So I'm going to do A and B, and you guys can do C and D. So taxes in British Columbia are 12%. That times that is $365.62. This one, Saskatchewan, is 10%. That'll be $587.64. Manitoba, it's 13%, and Nunavut is 5%. So there you go, you can finish those up. I won't do number 2, that's all you guys, but I'll move on to 3. Jody's 3-year lease says that he can drive 60,000 kilometers. He has to pay 14 cents for each extra. He drove 8.5K more. He also has to pay for paint and repairs and for new tires. What's the total cost? So the charge is going to be 8,468 kilometers extra times 14 cents will be a total of 1,185.52. That's one charge. Now we have to add that one, 1,185.52, to the paint one, 225, as well as the new tires, 535. And that's going to equal 1945.52. So that's how much extra the total cost will be. Number 4, you guys can do that one. Pretty confident. Let's move on to 5. I'll do 5. So we have Nazir, lives in Grand Prairie, Alberta. He read the newspaper advertisement at the right that we have limited time offer for retail customers, lease based on 36-month term at 3.9% per year. Monthly payments are almost $400 with a $1,320 down payment or trade-in. Due to the start of the lease, the first month is $75 tax for fuel, conservation, $500 administration fee, air conditioning, security deposit. Total lease obligation $17,000. Lease allowance is $16K per year, with 16 cents on extra kilometer purchase at the end of the lease for that much plus taxes. So let's fill in the stuff. What is the required down payment? Well, down payment said in here, $1,320. What is the monthly payment after taxes? Well, since we know that this is in which month? Alberta. Alberta's one tax, government tax of 5%. So we're gonna go 5 times the payment of $398.93, and we're gonna get a total of $418.88 for the monthly payments after tax. How much would he need to pay on the day he signed the lease? So due on signing will be the $1,320 that we calculated here for the down payment, plus the $418.88 for the first month, plus the tax, plus the admin fee, plus air conditioning. So we're going to get a total of $24,888. That's what he has to pay the first day. How many months is the term? Well, it said 36 months right at the top there. And suppose that Nazir bought the car when the lease expired. How much would he have paid for the car altogether? Well, the total cost was given to us right here. So we have $17,103.18, and we're gonna plus 5% tax of Alberta times the end of lease price of $21,667.25. So that is going to equal $39,853.79. That's how much Nazir would have to pay after everything. How many are included in the lease? Well, we know there was 16,000 per year, and how many years was it? It was 36 months, so that's 3 years. So he's allowed to drive 48,000 kilometers in the 3 years. Okay, so that's number 5. And number 6, I will let you guys do. So that's it for 1.5. We'll be moving on to 1.6 in the next video.